in the invocation and the pledge. Please stand.
Heavenly Father, ruler of all, graciously regard those who have been set in positions of authority among us, including Jeffrey and Jeff and Kevin and Mike and Stephen, such that you may guide them by your Spirit, that they may be high in purpose, wise in counsel, firm in good resolution, and unwavering in duty, that under them our Pinal County may be governed quietly and peaceably. Through Jesus Christ our Lord, who lives and reigns with you in the Holy Spirit, one God, now and forever. Amen.
Thank you. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, and welcome to the Pinal County Board of Supervisors, September 7, 2022, regular meeting. We are in order. Item number 1 is probably just a discussion regarding the 2022 Pinal County primary election handling. Ms. Ross.
Good morning, Chairman McClure, Vice Chair Surtee, supervisors, and staff. We are in the process of ballot proofing. We have sent out ballot proofs to candidates, cities, towns, school superintendent's office, local and state party chairs, Secretary of State, all the stakeholders that have language or races on the ballot. We have had one response from a candidate. It was immediately fixed and resent the updated proof, and we're continuing proofing today all day. And we should have we're checking our ballot order again today to make sure we have the quantities estimated. And we're going to try to, late this evening, we will get those off to the printer, and then they will send us another proof deck, which we will also proof that one, and then we will sign off when we feel it's correct, and then we'll proceed forward on that. Any questions on that part?
Any questions from the board? Supervisor Surtee.
No questions, but just some comments. The one misprint that was out there, of course, we're being watched nationwide, and that immediately got nationwide coverage already. So we're under such scrutiny, and thankfully he found that, or else it would have been a whole nother catastrophe. Even though it's a little tip of our county, we just have to be aware of that, and it's unfortunate that it got out there already. So.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Vice Chair. We are aware of the scrutiny and why we are going through this multi-step proofing process, which we feel is appropriate to the election, and having more eyes on is better for us to be able to catch anything else that may be out there.
Would it be helpful almost to have someone not even in your department proofread as well, just because a whole new set of eyes?
And thank you, Mr. Chairman, Vice Chair Surtee. I do have someone over there, right there this morning, doing that very thing.
Cool.
Any other comments from the board? Questions?
So to continue on hiring and staffing, we are working with HR, and we have the Deputy Election Director working with EOC this morning in a meeting to work on surging assistance that we need at all levels. We're continuing. There are some difficulties in filling some positions, but we are, again, getting the help to surge that assistance, to amplify our message on what we need, the skill sets we need, and how many we need. So we're going to continue that process. If we can also detail people from other departments that we see so that we have the assistance that we need. So those efforts continue. The message I do want to get out is for specifically the citizens of Casa Grande. It's looking like it will be a two-sided, two-card ballot, front, back, due to the number of, we have 10 state props, 1 county, 7 city Casa Grande, and 2 school, just for the city of Casa Grande. And overall, we have 7 school props. So it is driving a lot of precincts. Not every precinct will have 2-card ballot, but specifically the residents of Casa Grande will. So we're adding footnotes to the bottom, turnover, et cetera, to get that message to the voters. And that will increase some of the challenges to track both cards, that people vote and return both cards to us in those cases. We will be doing extensive testing in that area, but we do want to get the messaging out to those residents who will end up with 2-card ballots.
Hey, hold, can you, Supervisor Surdy, you?
You know that we're a sounding board for the citizens in the community, and so I'm just passing along things that I hear. When you are talking a two-sided ballot, for instance, in the primary, you've got all of your races on this side. On the back side, there was 1 race, constable. A lot of people didn't know to turn it over. I've been asked, can you put a little note at the bottom, more on back, or but wait, there's more, something like that. Is that possible to send little messages like that? Make sure you flip this over, that you're not done.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman, Vice Chair. That is exactly what we've done. On the bottom, we said turn over or look at the second side, page 1 of 2, and the same thing on for the second card. Put the footnote down there. Want to try to amplify that, put examples out so the public understands that. And in some cases, they're going to have, like I said, front, back, or front, back, front. It depends on the precinct and how many races and propositions affect that precinct.
Okay.
So we are doing that. Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none. Okay, go ahead. Thank you.
And I believe that is it for now.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Go forth and proof.
I have a few more. I have a few items on the consent agenda, so I'll hang around just in
okay.
case.
Okay. Mr. Volkmer, you may approach the bench. How's that?
Thank you, Chair. Ken Volkmer, Pinal County Attorney. I did want to provide a brief update regarding the administrative review to the board. So as the board is aware, we did hire outside counsel. Outside counsel engaged the services of Brad Nelson. Brad Nelson has 27 years, I believe, experience being an elections director. He did provide a brief update yesterday that I did want to provide to the board with the chair's permission.
Please.
So Mr. Nelson indicates that he has been able to review all of the videos, including press conferences and various documents that were sent out. He's had an opportunity to tour the elections department. He has completed his interview with Director Ross as well as Scott Johnson from my office. He has reviewed the actual ballot order itself. I know that he and Ms. Ross have discussed some of the shortcomings on that ballot order that led to the shortage. I know I had a very lengthy conversation with Ms. Ross just yesterday morning, and I don't think we're going to be seeing that issue again. Obviously, it was a human error. There were some silly assumptions that were made, and I have all the confidence in the world that Ms. Ross will not be repeating those silly assumptions, and there will be adequate ballots that will be shipped.
As do we, by the way.
He has had the opportunity to review. If you recall, when there were issues, they were being routed to our EOC center. So he's been able to listen to the majority of those and actually read sort of the printout. So they had people that live time were summarizing those calls. So he's had an opportunity to review all of those. He's had an opportunity to meet with the clerks of Queen Creek, Apache Junction, and Casa Grande. I know that was one of the requests that the clerks made is, hey, come talk with us. We know our cities. We know our communities. So he's had the opportunity to have those interviews and meetings with those three. At this point, his next step is he's going to be reaching out to the respective party chairs of the Democratic and Republican Party. There were so many people that came forward, and he listened to all of those complaints and all of the information that was addressed, but it's not going to be practical for him to meet with each and every poll worker individually. So he's going to be asking both the Republican chair and the Democratic chair to give him a handful of people that their experiences are most reflective of what happens, so he can actually have those personal interviews with the various poll workers, observers, et cetera. He is in the process of reviewing the poll worker training manual. And again, I know Ms. Ross and I had a conversation about that, and they are revamping it, shall we say. It's been quite some time since it was updated. There have been some shortcomings, and again, Ms. Ross is all over that. And then he has been working with the election department also to provide input about the ballot. Nobody wants to see two ballots. It's not the same two ballots we had before, but there's no way we can avoid it, and he understands it, and he just wanted us to be sure that he was aware of it. And then he is hoping to have his tentative report, final report, submitted by the end of the month. He is saying tentatively September 27th. He believes he will be able to have that to outside counsel. As soon as we get it, we'll obviously provide it to this board.
All right, thank you.
Is there any questions? I mean, I can answer any questions I can. This is the report that was provided.
Supervisor Kavanaugh.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Volkmer, has anyone spoken with David Frisk?
This does not indicate that Mr. Frisk has been spoken to at this point.
Did the outside counsel or the gentleman doing the investigation look at our meetings last year? We had discussions about potential problems coming up. I think we asked the county manager to produce a white paper because we were concerned about the upcoming election and potential failures. Did the county manager ever produce a white paper that the board discussed that day?
Mr. Chair, Supervisor Kavanaugh, we're aware of that request. There's actually going to be a second follow-up once this. So this is the shortcomings right now. There's going to be a second investigation that's going to address what led up to that. So his focus at this point has really been on just maybe the last 3 or 4 months as opposed to last year. But there is the intention. I know I've met with Mr. Liu. I know I've spoken with the chair. There is an intention to do a follow-up. When we discussed the possibility of that, one, it fell outside the scope of our actual engagement. Secondly, it would delay the investigation by potentially months, which would make it no longer helpful to us. So that information I know is on the radar to be done. That has not been investigated at this point, though.
And would you ask him to speak with Frisk? Frisk would be the primary source of information. If we're going to avoid problems in the future, it would seem wise to talk to Frisk, and he can tell you exactly what went wrong and how.
I certainly will pass on that message. I think it's reasonable. Now, whether Mr. Frisk is willing to speak with him is something else. We have no ability to force him, but I will certainly relay the request that Mr. Frisk himself be interviewed just so we have an idea from the man himself, so to speak, his perspective. So that is certainly a very reasonable request, well within the scope of this, and I will relay that.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you very much, Mr. Volkmer. Appreciate it. And there's no action, so we don't need to vote on anything. Let's see. Item number 2 is an executive session. The outside counsel is not available, and I would ask for a motion to withdraw this from the agenda, please.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we withdraw item number 2.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you. Item 3 is call to the public. Those wishing to address the Pinal County Board of Supervisors need not request permission in advance. Action taken as a result of public comment will be limited to directing staff to study the matter or rescheduling the matter for further consideration and decision at a later date. Presently, I've got 2 that I would like to address the board. I will start with Mr. McCain.
Good morning, Chairman McClure, Board of Supervisors, staffs, and friends. My name is Barry McCain from Arizona City. First, I wish to thank this board for listening to the people about their views about the last election and their due diligence. Freedom is not a given condition, rather something that to achieve through constant effort and struggle. True freedom comes from hard work and determination. Our society is based on democracy, not autocracy. Diversity is the key to fairness and equality. The question is, can we make change with something that doesn't change? The answer is no, because diversity is about inclusiveness, not divisiveness. It is through honest, collaborative efforts of us all that we'll be able to have fair elections This board has shown both honesty and collaborative effort, and you make me proud. We must have at least two opinions in order to pick the best for the whole. We have an opportunity now to serve our people with fair elections. Our people must be given a say to determine their own destiny by means of referendum.
Thank you, Mr. McCain. Next would be Mr. Reck.
I'm Noel Reck from Casa Grande. I want to thank Supervisor Miller for inviting me to your office and being open to engage in conversation with me. That means a lot. I also want to thank Mr. Liu and Mr. Keller for opening the possibility to speak after Mr. Condo's presentation on best practices and governance at the last meeting. Your professionalism during these meetings has not gone unnoticed. At the time, I wasn't prepared to speak to his presentation. I had to give it some thought. Today, I do have some suggestions to make regarding the call to the public. I hope they may be similar to suggestions coming from Mr. Condiff. I'm of the understanding that you can't respond to me during my time. I'm hopeful that you will do so after I'm done. Suggestion number 1, 3 minutes is not enough. Maybe just even 3.5 or 4. Trying to put forth one's thoughts in 3 minutes can be very stressful and incomplete. Might it be worth a test run? It's rare to have more than 5 to 10 people speak, if that, and then only in special circumstances. A few extra minutes wouldn't be too much to add. Suggestion 2, not to create a back and forth argument, but if citizens are called out by a supervisor, he or she should be able and allowed to respond. Suggestion 3, call to the public is for the public and not elected officials. Keep it to the public, thus avoiding Teresa Martinez's 8-minute-long campaign speech and Sheriff Lamb's tirades towards community members. Suggestion 4, not everyone can come to daytime meetings. Might some be at night or on a Saturday, an informal Saturday barbecue town hall every now and then? Burgers, chips, and a drink?
How about a beer? Sorry.
Well, that's okay too. An informal, inexpensive, and effective way to interact with your constituents. Let me draw a comparison based on my time as a career educator. Chairman McClure, take yourself back in time to your high school days. You're sitting at a lunchroom table with your friends when one of your teachers comes up with the same tray, hot lunch, and carton of milk that you have and asks to join you, just to shoot the breeze, talk about sports, music, your thoughts on school, etc. Do you feel more valued? Do you feel that there's someone in a position of authority that really wants to listen to you? That's something I used to do regularly, and it was extremely valuable for me and the students I shared lunch with. Suggestion 5, and most importantly, listen. It's common courtesy. There's no reason to have browsers open, phones out, or paper shuffled during the call to the public. Make eye contact and show interest. Allow me another educator's comparison. Vice Chair Surdy, take yourself back in time to your high school class, social studies class. There's a class discussion. You raise your hand and I call on you. You begin to speak and you notice I'm vacantly staring out the window. Or worse yet, I sit down at my desk and start entering the attendance in my grade book and filling out the absentee slip as you speak. Of course, today that would all be done on a computer, but I digress. I'm not listening and seem to have other more important things to do than listen to you. How devalued do you feel? I would never have done that to my students, and it should never happen here, even though today it's continuing to happen. I offer these suggestions with all due respect to the board and the work that you perform for the county. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reck. Are there any others that care to address the board?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Chairman McClure, Vice Chairman Sardy, members of the board, I am Tom Bean of Casa Grande. Just a few weeks ago, my wife and I were sitting on the couch. I on my iPhone, her on her iPad, and she said, "What's today's date?" And I said, "Oh, August 14th. And I got thinking, wait a minute, why does that date ring a bell? And I thought, my God, that's the date that I joined the United States Navy. Then I got thinking, my God, that was 1962? And then I got thinking, that's 60 years ago from today. Oh my God, do I feel old. Anyway, let's skip that page now. I ad-libbed that one. I raised my hand 60 years ago to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and I pledged this to God when I did it. And I know, Steve, you must have taken a few oaths in your life, and I know Mike did. Now, the other guy, I really don't know, but I bet you guys have been on committees, on school boards, city councils, and you've raised your hand. Politicians do this a lot, and as I'm looking around on the evening news, I'm wondering, why did we waste their time? They don't follow the Constitution. I have provided each of you with a Constitution, complimentary of the ACLU. When people face a congressional committee, they are always sworn in to tell the truth, and the Constitution is always mentioned, and they always finish with, "So help me God." Now, I assume that "so help me God" means that I'm pledging to God that, yes, I'm going to tell the truth. Oaths have become a meaningless waste of time. Judge Kavanaugh and Judge Gorsuch lied under oath to a congressional committee. They were repeatedly asked, "Will you defend Roe versus Wade?" And they repeatedly said, "Yes, it's the law of the land. I will support Roe versus Wade." And what did they do? The very first opportunity that they had, they struck it down. Now I understand some people are looking toward impeachment. I wouldn't contribute a nickel to that because I think that's a waste of time. It's sad. But yeah, you can go in front of a congressional committee and lie, unless, of course, you're just a regular old citizen like myself. This board also has sort of an oath that you take. That's impartiality. Now, I realize when you run for office, you run to your base. But when you are elected, you represent all of us. And I thank you for the representation that you guys give us. But I do hope that you will continue it. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bean. Are there others that care to address the board today? Seeing none, all right, we will move on. Item number 4, County Manager's Report. Ms. Shepherd, how are you today?
Great, thank you. Chairman McClure, members of the board, I have 2 items to share with you today. The first of which is a follow-up item. At a recent board meeting, when the purchasing report was provided, there were questions regarding the cost to purchase PCSO vehicles. So I want to provide a little bit more detail to explain those costs. The vehicles, in fact, there were 9 vehicles purchased, and they are following the state contract. In addition to the vehicle price is the cost to equip those vehicles to keep our deputies safe and to ensure their effectiveness in providing public safety. And those includes things like the lights as well as equipping for the various purposes that they're used. So while the price tag seemed high, the actual average cost for those vehicles was approximately $77,000. So I just wanted to share that, and hopefully that's responsive to any questions related to that. The second item is to make everyone aware of an opportunity that's coming up here, September 28th. Please consider joining Pinal County and the Phoenix Business Journal on that date at Wild Horse Pass from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. for a panel discussion on economic development in our region. You'll hear the panelists representing various industries, on why they chose Pinal County to do business. Arizona Commerce Authority President and CEO Sandra Watson will moderate the panel discussion, which will focus on several of the significant projects that make up the nearly $7 billion in capital investment and 12,000 jobs announced in recent years throughout Pinal County. For more information on this event and registration information, please look at the Phoenix Business Journal events page. Thank you, Chairman, members of the board. That's it for the county manager's report.
Thank you, Ms. Shepard. Let's see. Item number 5, Purchasing Division Report. So, Ms. Peterson.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Vice Chairman, and members of the board. I am T.R. Peterson, Purchasing Manager for Pinal County, and this is your purchasing report for September 7th, 2022. First, the board is requested to approve the following contract amendments. Contract 202225ER for case investigation services. We recommend approval of amendment number 3 to exercise the optional extension period from August 20th, 2022 through February 19th, 2023 with the University of Arizona. This contract is used by the Public Health Department. RFP 190424 for uniforms for Sheriff's Office and Animal Care and Control. We recommend Universal Police Supply be awarded a contract, or I'm sorry, that's a misprint. We recommend an optional extension for the contract beginning August 21st, 2022. This contract will be used by the Sheriff's Office and the Animal Care and Control. Next, the board is requested to approve the following change orders per Pinal County Procurement Code Section PC 1502, governing change orders that exceed minimum thresholds. PO number 247412 with Wex Bank in the change amount of $249,000 for a new total of $500,999 for light duty fuel used by the Fleet Services Department. PO number 247413 with Synergy Petroleum LLC in the change amount of $301,000 for a new total of $550,999 for diesel fuel with the Fleet Services Department. Next, the board is hereby notified of the following cooperative purchases. PO number 248037 with the Dell Computer Company in the amount of $113,750 for Dell services for the MDC replacement project, and this PO will be used by the IT department. PO number 248038 with the Dell Computer Company in the amount of $239,520.45 for docking stations for the MDC replacement project with the IT department. And next, the board is requested to approve the following cooperative purchases. Requisition 165497 with the Dell Computer Company in the amount of $1,028.45 for Dell Latitude rugged laptops for the MDC replacement project used by the IT department. PO number 247965 with Holbrook Asphalt Company in the amount of $350,000 for pavement preservation with Public Works. And lastly, the board is hereby notified of the following emergency procurement per PC 1352 and PC 1353, which authorizes the county manager to execute and sign emergency procurements on behalf of the county if there exists a threat to public health, welfare, property, or safety. PO number 248079 for Sunland Asphalt in the amount of $7,649,438.38 for the Sunland Gin Road project used by the Public Works Department. And that concludes your Purchasing Division report for September 7th, 2022.
Thank you. Does the board have any questions? Seeing and hearing none, I'd ask for a motion, please.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to pass the Purchasing Division report.
That one, right there.
As presented.
Do we need to notice the extension on the contract? On item 2?
No.
Yes, no?
Pardon me?
Not. Oh, right there.
Oh, here's the motion. approve the purchasing division report of September 7th, 2022, with the correction of the RFP 190424 to be awarded to the extension of the contract.
Does that work? All right.
That work?
I have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Peterson.
Thank you.
Number 6, consent items. All items indicated by an asterisk will be handled by a single vote as part of the consent agenda unless a board member, county manager, or member of the public objects at the time the agenda is called. Are there any items that the board would care to pull? None? Swat me away. Okay. Does the county manager care to pull any? No. The public care to pull any items from the consent agenda? Oh, I see a not a public, but are you?
Yes, this is Joe Ortiz, Pinal County Public Works. We'd like to pull item W.
W?
Item W?
Okay. Are there any other items that anyone would care to pull? I'll even open this to county staff since apparently they're in there too. Okay. Not seeing any. May I get a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve items A through AL minus W as presented.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Item W, Mr. Ortiz,
You want it continued? You want it?
you want it, yeah, continue, or what would you like to do with this?
Pass it on to Ortiz.
Handoff. All right.
Mr. Chairman, Vice Chairman, members of the board, good morning. Item W is a utility easement for Arizona Public Service for the new Public Defenders Building. So at the request of APS, we are withdrawing this utility easement because when they visited the site, the way they designed the utility easement, it requires a very long outage, which is not acceptable in the area of the CCA, which they have 5,000 inmates, and will affect our public health building. So they redesigned the new power service to the new Public Defenders Building, and we're going to resubmit that.
So we'll just withdraw this? Is that what we're asking to do?
That is correct.
Okay. So, all right. Do I have a motion to withdraw item W, please?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to withdraw item W from the consent agenda.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thanks.
Mr. Carry on. All right. Item number 7. We are to hearing, review, and action on appeal of hearing officer's decision on ZO-08-18-015. And I have the presenter is appearing telephonically. That would be Alan Quist, Silver Hearing Officer. Mr. Quist, are you there? Oh, Mr. Keller is going to announce something. I'm sorry, hang on.
Mr. Chairman, can you hear me?
We can. Mr. Keller has something to say, though, first, because I skipped over his.
That's fine, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to let you know this is one of those items where we have outside counsel that steps in our place in this one. And Alan is prepared to go ahead and describe this action that he's requesting.
And this is Joe Estes, I take it.
Yes, I'm filling in for my partner, Andrew McGuire.
Okay, thank you. Welcome. All right, Mr. Quist, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, this case is an appeal from a hearing officer's decision in a code violation case. The party appealing is represented by Omar Abdallah with the Rose Law Group. I've been in communication with Mr. Abdallah, and I've confirmed that his client has made progress towards compliance by making a zoning submission late last week. Based on these developments, Mr. Abdallah and I would like to jointly request that this matter be continued to the second board meeting in January 2023. At that point, we should have a better sense of the trajectory of the pending zoning case, which does have the potential of resolving the outstanding code issues on the subject properties.
All right. In that case, then, can I get a motion to continue to January 2023? Do we have a date specific?
Chairman, we have not scheduled the January meeting dates. However, by stating the second regularly scheduled meeting should suffice.
All right. Then may I get a motion to that effect, please?
Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion that with respect to item number 7, that would be moved to the second board meeting in January of 2023.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you very much. Item number 8. Thank you, Mr. Quist. Thank you, Mr. Estes. Welcome back, Mr. Keller. Okay. Let's see. Item number 8 is public hearing and discussion, approval, disapproval of ordinance number 2022-PZ-007-22. An ordinance approving case PZ-007-22. And we are looking at Ms. Dokar. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, and board members. Sangeeta Devkar, planner, presenting this case. It's a rezone. The project proposal is requesting a zone change from local business zone, which is CB1, to general commercial zoning district, C3, to allow for development of a self-service car wash on South Sunlanjan Road within unincorporated area of Pinal County. Subject site is located along South Sunlanjan Road, south of West Battaglia Drive in Arizona City. Applicant owner is Morris Menenga of Express Car Wash, LLC, and we have him here today. This is the county map showing the location of this proposal. One can see that it is in the unincorporated area of Pinal County South, central within Arizona City, north of Eloy, and south of Coolidge. The vicinity map showing the surrounding zoning for this project, or rather parcel. One can see that the east and the west portions being largely residential. However, the South Sunlanjan Road is a commercial strip, and it is abutted with a residential CR4 to the immediate west. And opposite of that is the residential zone on this area. The aerial map showing the parcel undeveloped at this point in time, and the subdivision which have happened along the east and west portions shows partially developed, partially not developed, and some of the portions on the immediate west are the CR3, which is not developed. Comprehensive plan showing moderate low density residential, 1 to 3.5 dwelling units per acre. And the zoning surrounding, which is zooming down to areas showing what I just described, CR3 on the east and west, CR4 immediate west. North and south is CB1, commercial zone. And this is the parcel which is being hatched showing requesting a zone change from CB1 to C3. This is the zoning exhibit showing the parcel going from CB1 to C3. This is the site plan showing the layout for this express car wash. The site is pretty straightforward in the sense of one side access, which is on the eastern portion of the parcel. It has an ingress and egress on the northern portion, however, an egress from the southern portion. The site plan shows on the northern side the stacking, the access to the site where the cars would come in and have a direction which goes south on the western side of this parcel, and then it goes into either the vacuuming area, or they can come out from the southern portion of this. The blue line shows the wall the CMU wall that would be constructed, which abuts the residential area to the western side. The north and the south is commercial zone, and it has the setbacks as shown on the site plan, with 0 setbacks as of now for the southern portion. It's just an open portion that goes out. The next site plan shows the grading and drainage, on-site retentions, the way it has been designed, the flows shown in green arrows, the points of collection, and an underground storage retention area, which is shown in the red oval shape, which is underground, can't be seen. The eastern portion of the parcel has a large setback from the South Sunlands Road, which has the canal, and also the landscaping area. One can also see that the trash enclosure that is part of the site plan requirements has been incorporated with enough, I would say, landscape buffers on the north and east side. Some pictures taken north along South Sunlands Road, along south of the same road. East, looking into the residential area opposite of the Sunlands Road. And west into the parcel, one can see that it's empty and residences on the back side. Some car wash locations that showing missing in the south, in the Arizona City, which is where this is going to be located. Most of them are along the I-10, which is 4 to 5 miles away. Some item for board's consideration: the rezone is similar and is compatible with surrounding parcels and their intended zoning and land use concepts of being commercial. Current location of car wash, as shown earlier picture, along I-10, none in the Arizona City, serving this region and the southern portion of the Arizona City. The drainage has been managed underground on retention, designed to handle site drainage. Site plan process: the applicant is required to undergo a further site plan review process separately after this rezone process is completed, where the traffic and drainage items would be further detailed out. We received no public response for this rezone, and I'm open for any questions, if any.
Are there any questions from the board? Seeing and hearing none. All right, this item has a public hearing aspect, so I would open the public hearing. Anyone from the public care to speak up? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing and ask, and again, board, any questions?
I forgot to mention the PNC also recommended approval with 12 stipulations. That was the last slide, which...
Yeah, it's right here. Okay, so if there's no questions, may I get a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve item number 8 as presented with 12 stipulations.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Doak. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oh, I am sorry. Oh, go ahead.
Can I just say something?
Please go ahead, because I know you.
that. I'm Morris Menninger. You know, I don't know if most of you know this, but Pinal County Sheriff's Department is a pretty huge benefactor here. You know, this facility kind of mirrors Coolidge. Well, I don't know how many hundreds of Pinal County Sheriff's vehicles we wash every day for free. Okay? I mean, it's just a service we provide for first responders and all the law enforcement. And we do Pinal County Sheriff, Coolidge, Gila River. And in Arizona City, you got a station out there, so we will provide the same service out there. You know, that's just part of what we want to give back to the community. So again, thank you for getting it approved. Any help? Appreciated getting this thing permitted quicker. We'll get vehicles washed quicker in Arizona City. So, thank you.
You bet. Thank you. Hang on, Supervisor, what's your name?
Since you're doing the sheriff's department, can you do my truck too?
Bring it over.
Done. All right.
Okay, thank you, Morris.
My county truck, not my personal truck.
Yeah,
just
yeah,
so we
just,
make sure.
yeah, make that,
Make
thank
sure
you
we
very much.
verify that. Right,
Okay.
right.
It's on the record. You see that, camera? Okay. All right. Item number 9 is a public hearing and discussion, approval, disapproval of amendments to the Citizen Participation Plan for the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development Programs. And I can only guess, but Ms. Patel, how are you?
Fantastic. Thank you, Chairman. Heather Patel with the Office of Budget and Finance. This item before you today is our Citizen Participation Plan. We are required to have a plan set aside for how we engage the public when we are doing our consolidated plan with our U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development funding, which includes the home funds, CDBG funds, and the Emergency Solutions Grant. So the plan does outline how we encourage people to participate. It discusses when we post notices, how long we give people to comment on documents that we have posted. It also talks about any amendments and what we consider to be an amendment to our plans. And then finally, we include something new that wasn't in our original plan, which is the anti-displacement policy. And all this simply means is that the projects that we undergo, we do our best not to displace anybody from their homes. And if it is unavoidable, then it puts into place what we will do to assist those people. But at this point, we don't have projects like that. This document was available on our website for 30 days, and it is open for public to comment on any part of this.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the board? Seeing none. Okay, this also has a public hearing aspect, so I would open the public hearing. Those wishing to speak from the public, jump on up. Seeing and hearing none, we will close the public hearing. And if there's no questions from the board, I would ask for a motion, please.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve item number 9 as presented.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none. Motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Patel.
Thank you.
Item number 10, public hearing and discussion, approval, disapproval of the third expansion of right-of-way water franchise agreement between Pinal County and Arizona Water Company. And presenting is Ms. Villegas. Good morning.
Good morning, Chairman, members of the board. Megan Villegas with Public Works. I am here on application with Arizona Water Company for an expansion to use our right-of-way for their utility services. They are looking at expanding 3 more sections into their service area, which would be west of Talltech Buttes and north of Hannah Road. I do have Mark Kurian from Arizona Water Company here as well, if there's any questions, but Public Works is recommending the approval of the expansion to their water franchise agreement.
Okay. Are there any questions from the board? Seeing none, this also has a public hearing aspect to it. I would open the public hearing. Any from the public, again, care to speak? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing. And thank you, Mr. Higgins. And so I would ask for a motion, please, if the board has no questions.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve item number 10 as presented.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none. Motion passes. Thank you. Item number 11, discussion of board members' requests for future agenda items and/or reports to be presented at upcoming meetings. Does anyone have anything from the board they care to put on a future agenda? Supervisor Kavanaugh.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We've heard today concerns about call to the public, and in past meetings, folks have submitted slips to speak, and they were not called upon. And so what I would recommend is changing the slips to speak to a triplicate, numbering them, providing one to the citizen, one to the clerk, and one to the chairman, and then the slips can be called in order. If there's one missing or lost, it would be immediately identified. And I think this would solve some of the problems, as well as potentially expanding the 3 to 4 minutes as the request was made. So that will be a future agenda item.
All right, we can do that.
So this is not the place to discuss that?
We'll discuss it at that time when it comes up.
Okay.
And I have a point of personal privilege after we're done with if anyone else.
All right. Are there any other items that anyone cares to place on a future agenda? Seeing and hearing none, we'll move on. Let's see. Why don't you go ahead, Supervisor Kavanaugh, take your personal point of privilege.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to compliment Deputy County Manager Mary Ellen Shepard for her assertiveness 2 weeks ago and the concern for the employees of the county and citizens in assessing the status of my COVID sickness and asking me to leave and attend the meeting remotely when this board took a break. While I made the board aware of why I left, the public did not know. So I want to thank you. I can't see. She's still here? Oh, there you go. So I want to thank you and compliment you for your work there, and let everyone know that she thinks fast on her feet and did a nice job in assessing that I may still be contagious.
Thank you, Supervisor Kavanaugh. All right, items 12 and 13 are executive sessions. I'd ask for a motion to convene to executive session for 12 and 13.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to go into exec session.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, we are in executive session. Motion. Is there a second?
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. And this meeting is adjourned.